Namaste. My name is Jeffrey Armstrong, Kavindra Rishi. Our topic tonight is the ancient Vedic science of Bhakti Yoga, the perfection of our personhood, our attraction to beauty, and the loving emotions that are the goal of our life, or the yoga that liberates humans by reestablishing our intimate relationship and ecstatic service to the ultimate and supreme being. And welcome to the fifth in a five-part series on the science and practice of yoga, here on Chitty Not Chatty Media. You remember, because we're Atmas and because we are emanating the light that is our essential nature, called our consciousness, pervading our karana, our car, our vehicle, our body. And so far, we've learned how to balance that vehicle through Ashtanga Yoga, and then go within for our meditational process, for our dhyan and samadhi, and to be focused back upon where we're truly from, in the realm of Brahman, saying, Aham Brahmasmi, I am of that Brahman nature intrinsically, not Aham Kara, I am made of matter, I am my car. And then Jnana Yoga took us deeper into that. Not this, not iti, not that. What's this, what's that? And then Karma Yoga showed us the boomerang effect and how to work within the realm of cause and effect as a doer without being compromised by the complexities of doing. Now, in our fifth in this series on yoga, we go to the ecstatic moment, the illuminating ecstatic culmination of beautiful, you could say, to not lower our sights, but to raise them. All the orgasmic, exquisite moments that we feel within matter, which by everyone's account is not every moment equally, but some just take us to the next level. That beauty is the motivation for us to seek our origins, because our origins are the same as the source of that beauty. And though at first, because it's difficult to do, it feels impersonal, we just are pulling back from being engulfed in matter itself, in Prakriti, and the forces that twist and turn us. But at a certain point as a yogi, the last step of reclaiming who we really are is looking again for the ultimate love, trying to find the source of the beauty we've been pursuing for countless lifetimes. This only happens when you're ready. Just like in our ordinary everyday life, you don't decide to fall in love. What did the poet say? Wise men say, only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love. What was that song pointing to? Just another human? Yes. But what if we just shift it? What if the focus is the source of all the beauty? What if in Sanskrit that has a name? And that name is Bhagavan. Bhaga, one who possesses. Van, the 6 characteristics that all the beauty we've been in pursuit of consist of. And what if we simply follow beauty back to its source? We're already, in varying degrees, in love with it. If it hasn't beaten us up too badly, too recently, we go back to it. It's a little bit like people fall in love and they're like a drunken boxer. They get beaten up somehow then they go nurse their wounds, then they come back and try again. But if you have any humanity left, you try again. You come back to what we call love. You come back to that emotion. You come back to allowing yourself to be so moved by beauty. That entire process in Sanskrit is called bhakti. Bhakti means all the beauty, all the wealth, all the fame, all the knowledge, everything that was worth having, every scrap of it, every little bit, which it turns out is reflected into Prakriti, just there for a while, but irresistible. So what if you simply turned around and headed back toward the irresistible source of all that beauty? That, then, is a yoga with all the other characteristics, uses all the same processes of Ashtanga yoga, of Jnana yoga, of karma yoga. All of those are still part of our repertoire, our vocabulary as yogis. But this is the coup de grace. This is the summum bonum. This is the last question. Where did the beauty come from? Why did I pursue it? And how may I continue to do so as a yogi, as an Atma, as an immortal being? Are you telling me that after this there's just an empty hole or just a bright flashlight in my eyes? Then you haven't answered my question. Remember the song? Wise men say, ah. So, wise, everyone knows this. Wisdom includes explaining beauty. Or you just were hurt and wounded and you skipped over it. So bhakti is a universal phenomenon. It is not in a religion. It is not to someone's sect. It is not another limited form. It is not inside of a sectarian context. It's not a group of crazy people who are raving and overcome with emotion. But all of that is the symptom that we want that. But bhakti is a yoga, so it has the precision of all the yogas, of the Ashtanga, of the Jnana, of the Karma, but it also, at a certain point, you either cut your hair off or let it down. You go like this. I'm all in. 100%. No fear, nothing but trust, and now all I want is to go back. But since I'm still here, I'm still poised in the midst of the two realms. This one, I now understand, is reflected in this one. Now, how do I teach beauty by force, coercion, conversion? How do I tell others you must do beauty? No, you can't. And just doing this, they could misunderstand. Are you attracted to them, or what are you saying? So at a certain point, and only when they're ready, only when it is the right moment for them, because in all love, of any description, of any mood, the right moment is what everyone knows to wait for. When the moment is right, then bhakti as a yoga is taught. If it's taught too soon, it's too much. When the person is ready, ripe, it's just like we humans. At a certain age, it's still not appropriate for us to... Romeo and Juliet ended up killing themselves. They were too young to handle the pressures of their love. So it's the most powerful, it's the dynamite that binds people to the realm of Prakriti. as they see the reflection of beauty in the mirror of this energy, of this cycling material energy. And they grab it, and they can't keep it, and we call that tragedy. For a moment, they have romance, and then they have tragedy. The Vedic civilization understands this, understood this so profoundly because, and this is the history, unlike any other civilization who's reported in the past of visitations to them by anything resembling the source of everything, the Vedic civilization records historically 2 personal descents into the midst of their culture, 12,000 and 7,500 years ago, of what is called an avatar. A complete descent of the ultimate supreme person, being. And the name for that, there are many. There are hundreds of names. Just as any one thing that is the most beautiful, there would be poets singing of it in a myriad of languages, from a myriad of angles, and it would have different names. But the all-encompassing name is charisma. The English word charisma captured that aspect of the word Krishna, which means in Sanskrit, the most attractive source of everything. There's nothing sectarian about it. If you've ever gone towards something because it had a characteristic that was drawing you, because it was charismatic for any reason, you were simply running after Krishna. You were simply hoping to get close and have more of that experience. And if you went on a progressive march around the planet, and at the end of the march you found someone who had all the beauties you'd experienced in any place on the planet, after 10 years, a decade of going everywhere, and now all of that is in one place, would you stay or leave? Would you want to leave? Would you at least take a picture? And if you took a picture, wouldn't it be in the hope of finding it and going back again? But would you try to force anyone to understand it? Could you? No. So this is the problem with bhakti, that its adherents become so excited, their hands go up in the air, they lose control, in a sense, of their composure. And that's all positive, except then they may go running out and say to everyone else, you have to do this, you have to do this. And that is the mistake. No one who properly understands Bhakti Yoga ever is coercive, is trying to convert forcibly, or to speak of being violent. If all of the so-called religions of the world right now just dropped their guns, dropped their knives, dropped everything that's dangerous, and said, we're just going to practice if you don't mind, and if you're attracted, lovely. Come for dinner. The ones that do are probably the true representatives of their religion, because they all have some bhakti. Bhakti is no one's property. It doesn't belong only in Bharat, in India. But beauty specialists thrived there in a climate of yoga that recognized that the last stage of yoga makes you go crazy good, delicious crazy, crazy in love, crazy tears, crazy want nothing else, crazy in love. And we all want to be crazy in love. Every creature has a version of it according to the body they're in. Everyone is desperately hungry for that. Hate is just a jilted lover. This is not, and the word love is not quite enough. So the Sanskrit word is bhakti. It is bhaj. It's also priti, pratipurvakam. It's madbhakta. There's a whole Sanskrit vocabulary of words spoken in an ecstatic state of being that is the result of somehow through your yoga making direct connection with Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, Narayana, Vasudeva, all the names, the being in whom we are all like flowers in a vase, Vasudeva. But if your mood is other than that, in the Vedic teachings, you are not nudged or pushed or shoved toward what could be the ultimate. And we won't even say it's everyone's ultimate, because that's up to them. That's volitional. That's their choice. In many regards, the reason that the world doesn't yet understand this philosophy that I'm sharing with you now, I'm a kind of intermediate messenger because I know English well enough to step carefully and not use the wrong words, and Sanskrit well enough to present you with words you do not have words for in English, nor French, nor Spanish, etc. But you all know you've had a taste of this beauty, and in that taste you went a little crazy, or a lot of crazy. And we all know, once bitten, twice shy. But what if you can pull back from those pains of bhakti? Bhakti for something temporary isn't bhakti. It is love. Love comes from the Sanskrit lobha, which means greed. I'm greedy for this, I'm greedy for that. That makes me greedy. I want that, I want that. Those are the seeds of what will mature some lifetime into the flowers and garlands and inimitable, nectarine, delicious, unspeakable, poetic, extraordinary, ecstatic experiences that are what we all secretly want. And a bhakti yoga stays in those states for extended periods of time and maintains an even equipoised nature working within the world where no one else is aware of what they're experiencing, or they do go off somewhere and no longer have a need to do anything here. That is called moksha. Not quitting isn't called moksha. No longer needing to be here again is called moksha. Each of these yoga systems, Ashtanga, the eight-limbed, Jnana, the analytical, Karma, the action Jackson, the doer, someday culminate in bhakti. Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, but only when you're ready. My name is Kavindra Rishi, Jeffrey Armstrong. See you next time, and have a Namas day.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net.